Hey, welcome back and happy Thanksgiving. If you're new here, my name is Chris Eggenberger. I run a small 3D print shop out of my basement, and I've got a lot of questions about I'm getting my first 3D printer or how do I get started. So today I'm going to give you the shopping list so you can set up an operation just like this. Let's get started. Just a quick thank you to everybody who supported the channel so far. We just crossed 2,000 subscribers in 7 days. We are on for a wild ride. I hope that you guys get to follow along. If you're new here and like the content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Now let's get to that list. The last thing I'll say before we get into this is I am not an expert. This is just my own experience on my own path of how I did this. If you like that path, then my advice is going to be good for you. But I want to frame it, I'm sure I'll learn something down the road, and there are many other ways to do this. But what I am going to do is break up this advice into three distinct areas. First is, what do I need to get started in 3D printing? Number two is, you have a product you want to put online. What do you need to do that? And number three is, now that I have something I want to sell and it's online, I've made an order, what do I need to be able to pack and ship that effectively? You don't need to invest on all three right away. And in fact, I would say wait till number three until you already make a sale and then rush really fast to get it out the door for people and figure it out at that time. Once you start making a profit in the business, then you can take that, roll it back into buying some of these better equipment, better machines, or things that you just didn't have. If you can avoid paying out of pocket for any of this, that's how you create a sustainable business. So slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Now let's get into step number one, is a 3D printer. This, as I've shown in a previous video, was my first 3D printer. It was on sale for Black Friday, and it was, I think, like $100, $110. It worked great, and the first product I sold were $15 a piece, and I made 10 of them, and I sold them all. So I was able to pay off this printer relatively quickly, and then I moved on to a different printer. Now, I've received questions on what size printer do I get? And I'll be honest, the real truth to that is buy the biggest printer you can afford. I went with the really small one, and I've actually stayed in that lane because my products don't need to be bigger than this. Now, that does limit my design process some, but that's something I'll talk more about on the next video this coming Saturday about my design process and what restrictions I have around that. Now, in terms of what brand, I don't want to dissuade anybody from buying an Ender or a Creality or an Anchor or a Bamboo. My preference is a Bamboo. Now, I will say, if you are someone who's a tinker, you love building things, love taking them apart, diagnosing, and doing that type of stuff, a printer like this is going to be really great for you because you'll get to understand how it works a lot more. And part of your time with 3D printing will actually be diagnosing issues and really learning the nuances of 3D printing. If you're more interested in the design and building a business and focusing on the product side, I'd recommend something like a Bamboo A1 Mini or A1 as a starting point because they're more of a machine. You don't have to worry about them as much. You can do the auto bed leveling, and you're pretty much going to get good prints as long as your designs are good. All right, next thing. The next thing you're going to need is a computer. Now, I assume that most of you are either on a phone or a computer watching this right now, so you've kind of got that already in the bag. There are a lot of good software options, but what you're going to want to look for is either a parametric modeling software or something similar to Blender. I'm not sure what the other name is, but parametric is dimensional 3D modeling. Think of what engineers typically use, and Blender is more freeform and organic. So if you're doing cool, like designed octopuses and like little creative toys, you don't need a parametric software. Now, for my use case and what I do, I use a parametric software, which allows me to build really dimensionally accurate parts that fit different applications around my house. And last but not least, in step number one, is a pair of calipers. You don't need to buy a really expensive pair. Now, if you don't want to learn how to use one of these that doesn't have a digital dial on it, buy the digital one. You can still get them cheap on Amazon. I wanted to learn how to use this scale, which I think is kind of cool. And you can get these for like, I don't know, more than 10 bucks, but maybe 15 to 25 bucks online. And this is going to serve you really, really well. Now for the second part, now you've got a product and you want to put it online to potentially sell to somebody. The only thing you need is your creativity and a camera. Now, I know a lot of you have some type of cell phone, or maybe you have a bigger camera setup. You're gonna just need that. You don't need lighting equipment. Just wait till it's sunny outside, do it near a window, and just get creative. Find little things around your house that complement the background, and take some photos. I know some of you have asked questions about actual photo editing, but really, when it comes down to it, I do very minimal photo editing. I try to do all of the work on the front end, where if I can take a really good photo, then I have to do barely any editing, and the editing is really just color corrections to make it look how I want. All right, last but not least is you've just made your first sale. What are you gonna need? And well, it really depends on the product you have. I hate to give you that answer, but it could be a bubble mailer, it could be a box, and you just gotta measure the size of what you have. Go on Amazon, to be frank, and just find something that looks like it might work and is a really affordable option. Buy it and test it out. Now, in terms of like what to wrap it in the package, I really like this stuff, which is, I cut the label off, but Scotch cushion lock right here. This stuff works really good. It's like a paper roll. Let me zoom down, and you pull it out and it expands into this mesh material, but it's just paper. Kind of uses some origami to do that. And then you need a way to print and ship labels. So down here I have a printer. Now you can actually get access, if you don't have a printer, from your library probably. So ask your local library if you can print at their place, and you don't even need sticker paper. You can even just print that label right onto a normal piece of paper and grab some packing tape and just seal it over top of the box that you have. It doesn't have to be complicated. Spend as little money as possible and get as many sales as possible while keeping quality and your product focus as in the forefront. You know, I find it crazy that you guys are asking me, you know, how do you do this? Because I'm also at the beginning of my journey. So I don't want you guys to take what I have to say at 100% face value, because I still have a lot to learn myself. But what I can tell you as a fact, when it comes to starting a business or doing something that you have a dream about or want to do, the three things that are going to take you the furthest are persistence, patience, and practice. Without those three, nothing you do in life is going to work. So do that. Get yourself a printer. Get yourself some calipers. Start learning some 3D modeling programs. There's a thousand amazing channels out there on YouTube. That's what I do. I just watch them when I have questions, and keep at it. You know, thanks for spending a small piece of your Thanksgiving day with me. It really means a lot. Again, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. I've got plenty more to come. Release schedule is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. It's really a vlog about my business. This video and Saturday's video are going to be slightly different, clearly, because I'm not going to be able to do normal business functions as I'm spending so much time with family. This coming Saturday, I'll be talking about design. I have a lot of people asking me about that, so the video is queued up. We're ready to go, and we're going to be walking through what design parameters I have and why I make the choices I do when making a new product. If that's something you're interested in, I'll see you there. Otherwise, hope to see you next Tuesday when I'm potentially, cross my fingers, having to fulfill a massive backlog of orders. But we'll see. Until next time, thanks again for tuning in.